Hello everyone, my name is Danny and I'm gonna give you some insights today on Thursday. First off, I want to share some stats, which I find quite interesting. So you might have seen that. Here we see the global share on cryptocurrency transactions by volume by region. As you can see here, Eastern Asia is going down, obviously, which is basically China, which is due to the crackdowns, and we see an uptrend in Central and Northern Europe. So I found that pretty interesting. How is that shift from east to west? I'll also show you one more stats, which is this. Essentially, you can see here that those are Bitcoin nodes also by region, who has the most nodes. So we see there's Germany pretty much on top, and we have France, Netherlands, UK, which are all European countries. So again, that kind of resembles the overall transaction amount, which is more on which is growing in Europe. So I found it pretty interesting, just for some basic information. Now I'm going to share with you some charts. Start off with S&P. You can see here there was a drop, there was a bounce back, and then there was a further drop. So we said in the last video that if this breaks down actually below the last low, if this would break down lower, that would be very bearish. Now here we're looking at S&P 500, right? So maybe we should not just look at those index, but also at QQQ, which is essentially tech stocks. Here we see a similar pattern happen, dump down, and here in this case actually it dropped below that low. So this, from a technical analysis perspective, this is a rather bearish trend to start. Now we see how this continues, of course, but in general this is a bearish pattern. You'll have to see it. Another thing what I wanted to show you today is the US dollar chart. So essentially the strength of the US dollar, it's DXY, which we see here, it's growing now. So having the dollar growing, the strength of the dollar, relative strength of the dollar, is kind of indicating that there are people moving assets into USD, funds and so on. So USD demand is growing, which essentially likely derives from deleveraging in the stock market, so selling essentially. They have to sell into USD, which strengthens the USD. A strong US dollar also is normally not the greatest sign for Bitcoin. So it's essentially, Bitcoin is essentially similar process like S&P 500, right? So those charts suffer together, those charts pump together, those charts are also comparing to US dollar strength, very relevant. Now moving forward, looking at the Bitcoin chart, we have seen that recent to the overall all-time high, the dump, which was pretty heavy. We have seen this one, which could be seen as a relief rally, and then we had a further dump. So now we can see here on that chart, if I zoom in a bit more, it's we're breaking out of that downtrend pattern at the moment. You can see that. So if you would draw a line from here to here, you would probably see a small breakout of that. So which is a positive sign. However, we will have to see. Yeah, then especially looking at macro, at the overall market, I still have the tendency to look a little bit on the bearish side or conscious side. So, like I say, if you would draw a line from here to here, you would see a small breakout. It can be positive, so we have to wait for retest and see if it comes further down. Then, of course, this is irrelevant. If it retests and then goes up, that's a good sign. So there might be at some point some decoupling of Bitcoin from stock markets, right? doesn't have to stay forever. It could also be that at some point, potentially money from the stock market flows into cryptocurrency. Reason for that can be that earnings on most of the large companies in the stock market are relatively low. Also, the US bonds, they also yield, the yields are also very low. Whereas in crypto, you can still earn 10, sometimes 20% yield on your stablecoin or on your cryptocurrency holdings. You might be seeing some inflow of that old money into the new cryptocurrency space. Okay, moving forward, we had some bearish news. Well, not really bearish, it's just something to be aware of. Kraken, even a US exchange, a very big US exchange, which actually aims to go IPO soon, had a fine from CFTC. So CFTC is similar to SEC. They check. They are a regulatory body in the United States. So it's about commission trading and leverage trading and targeting to illegal offering features, right? So all of this is a topic. So Kraken paid a fine. Just to be aware of that. For two purposes. One is if you hold any assets in Kraken. I don't think it will shut down or anything like that, but something to be aware of. And secondly, this also resembles the overall kind of crackdown on crypto exchanges. We have seen a lot on Huobi recently from China pressure. We've seen a lot on Binance from global pressure, and also within the states. Those exchanges, they're also not prone to sanctions or fines. Okay, now I want to finish off with some positive news, some bullish news. Also, Burger King is going into NFT space, which makes totally sense. Like I think I've mentioned that before, because NFTs are essentially just another marketing channel for any real-world brand. Also a sales channel. So if Burger King would create some kind of collection where fans could buy pictures, animations, or whatsoever, which carry a certain value, or where you have access to certain new launches or features or whatsoever, NFT space offers that. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to show you some funny story. And if you look at the general media like CNBC, it's really sometimes ridiculous what they post. You can read the heading for yourself. I mean, I do not know where they got that research paper from. However, I found it pretty funny. In general, okay, nobody should be over leveraged. Nobody who is not a professional trader should trade with leverage, and you should only invest in any market the money you are willing to lose. All right, thank you. Bye bye.